I feel like I have built a reasonable, respectful filter, so I'm never going to disrespect anybody with the questions that I would ask.
I am such a big Jay-Z fan.
6ix9ine was my favorite rapper at that time.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's interesting. Okay.
I actually definitely sabotaged myself last year. I could have definitely been monetized by this time.
As I said, I'm in a third world country. We don't really get concepts like that. Like, we do get some stuff, but nothing that really interests me. And what we get, because I am from Banja Luka, which is shout out to my city. I love my city. I want to put on for my city, but it's really not that. Like, when it comes to concerts, we don't really get stuff like that from international artists.
Oh yeah, Wireless. I went to Wireless, which is cancelled, Jay. I was going to go this year, but I never bought any tickets because of how Kanye was going to perform anyways.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, bro. How are you?
Awesome. I'm good. You?
I'm good, bro. You know what I mean? We've been waiting
Nice
for
to
a
meet you.
week. You know what I mean? Getting it in.
You got any topics off the bat that you want to talk about, bro?
I mean, whatever you feel like talking about, it can be about, because like I really am a hip hop and R&B guy. I can't talk about much else. Like, I mean, I can't talk about it, but like now with like a lot of, very casually. But like we can talk about just new releases. We can talk about our favorites. We can talk about just like some general discussions. Whatever you want.
All right, bro. Well, the last thing I seen you do was get into New Edition. How do you feel about them? Like, you know what I mean, in this aspect ratio.
I love them. I love them because there's always like artists that you heard are amazing, but you never check them out. Not because you weren't interested, but just like didn't get to them. And I made like a new series on my channel called Checking Out, and I go through 10 most acclaimed songs. You know what Rate Your Music is?
Rage Music, or
Eh,
yeah, that's if you say in Rage Music, that's like the Playboy Carti Underground, Ken Cost, and all this.
No, no, I mean, there's a website for where like fans can go and like rate music. So I went through like
Oh,
10
Rate Your
most
Music. Yeah, 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 yeah,
yeah, so I went through 10 most acclaimed songs from an artist, and I just tell how I'm feeling about it. The first episode was about Sade, because I never checked out Sade until like a month ago. And now I did a new edition one. Next one, I'm planning it to be Brandy. It's probably gonna be just an R&B series because I did hear most like very acclaimed rappers, and it's very fun. And like I really loved what I heard from them. I haven't gotten to listen to more because I just finished the video, but I'll 100% check out more.
I've been seeing all type of shorts that you've been putting out. You have a lot of the same takes that I do personally. Even with the Zuvia album that Faye Wepper put out, you said like the stuff that I was thinking. You was talking about the Yeet album. I feel you put me onto the fact that the sample is also the same sample that Kanye West used in Good Morning. Um, you know what I mean? I feel like there's a lot of potential. There's a lot of future that you hold. So I'm interested into
Thank you.
seeing like where you take, like this subculture in a sense.
hmm Thank you. Well, the way that like let's do like I do reviews. I usually stream the album when it comes out, and then I just like give my first impressions on it, and then like later, like 4 days maybe later, I put out a review. And like with that Heat album, the Elton John song, the one that sampled Elton John, was definitely my favorite. I really don't find a lot of that album that interesting. But I'm interested like in how, because I've seen you do like different interviews. I've seen you do like top 10 lists, not top 10, but just like top lists. Tell me like how do you conduct interviews? Because I'm also an interviewer. Like how do you approach an interview?
Me, the way I actually approach interviews is I did definitely try to put in some structure so that they would segue better. And that's the one I did with DJ Chisel, who's my mentor, I would say. So I get like a lot of confidence to try new things with him. Um, but the way that I approach them regularly is just like trying to go off what the last thing they had said, whatever comes into mind, and hopefully it's a good question. If it's not, then you know what I mean. Then it won't be a good answer in a sense. So whatever type of question I'm able to give is the same respect of the answer that I receive, and then that just keeps us flowing.
So you don't script the questions, you just go off the top of your head.
Yeah, it's better that way. I feel when I script the questions, I try and work off of my algorithm rather than chemistry that we would build if we was to do a regular interview in that sense.
Well, for example, script my questions because I don't know about you. I'm not saying that you don't, but I do a lot of research, like a really a lot of research, and I just can't remember all the things, and I just really want to touch on a lot of different topics. So with my interviews, it's not really like a podcast per se, even though it is a podcast, but I'm not really trying to have like a casual conversation. My bigger goal is just asking questions that artists and their fans want to be asked, that they want to have the answers to, rather than trying to like have like a conversation. Even though my podcast is called Conversations, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, obviously that's the Filip Perić show, I believe. Is that the around? That's the right pronunciation in it.
Yes, it is. It's the Filip Perić.
W.
That's how you say it.
So yeah, bro, that's exactly how I just conduct my interviews. I definitely enjoy the way that you do it, because of how much structure that you have put in, or the way that you have like the research on the questions. It come across like Nardwar in a sense. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
So it's fun it's fun to watch in a sense, but also very like it's very introspective, insightful. I want to say is between that. So I do watch a lot of the stuff that you put out.
Thank you. I want to ask you about like how do you choose which artists you want to platform? Like, do you just stumble across them? Because I know you do like type me thing. So like if they want to have an interview, but how do you like choose like okay, I want to interview this person specifically?
So when it came to actually asking people this time around, it's because nobody was really like hitting that me button. So I had to be like, okay, so who is the best conversation I can get from, based on how I would work with this artist or with this content creator. And I asked 5 people, 2 responded. That's you and Tianosa. Um, so I feel it went out better than my process was going in a sense. Because if I'm able to ask somebody, which me, I don't just ask people who would say yes. I ask people who I'm actually interested about. I'm able to build a better platform in that sense.
Well, that's amazing. Like, do you? Because I definitely have like a list of my favorite interviews I've done, and the one that are like my least favorite as well. It's rarely like about the artist. It's more about like things surrounding the actual interview. But do you have like some interviews that you are like so proud of that like you always like highlight when people ask you what should I watch? You tell them this one. I like this one.
I feel like every interview that I do is like, I feel grateful for every single one of them. I believe it's usually based on how I produce it in a sense. So the one that I feel like I produced the best comes from the one I had with Millionaire's Clip so far. It might be 10 your nose by the end of my edit, or even this one right now. But the one that it's actually out as I'm talking, I do believe that the Millionaire's Clip is my best produced.
And what says best produced? Because I don't think I've seen it.
So when I say the best produced, it's like the editing, the quality that I put into it, the questions I might ask, or like just everything technical about it. Is the production. The performance comes from, like how we are in presence.
I understand. And like, let's say for me, when it comes to stuff like production, just editing, I feel like for interviews, I always just try to kind of put out the whole thing. Not saying that you chop some parts up and don't like leave them, but with me, like I always try to at least like put 100% of the conversation in to the interview because I feel like when I started, I was like very like which word to use. I wasn't like I didn't understand how to like I was like a perfectionist in a way. I still am a perfectionist, but in that way that I was like I don't like how this question ended up sounding, so I might cut off the whole question. But with more like experience and just getting, I guess, more secure in what I'm doing, I feel like very rarely now do I actually have to like cut something off. And usually when that's a thing, it's like because of like a technical error or like the artist needed to like, I don't know, go to the bathroom or something similar. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's never happened for me, but I do believe that that's going to happen at some point, just as a human experience. But yeah, bro, like if I have to edit something, it's usually when I'm just talking to somebody off script. You know what I mean? In the sense, even though none of this is scripted, I do have a lot of times where I'm about to be like, well, we're going to approach this question. Is this supposed to be in the interview or not? And if it's not, then it's out.
In what sense?
Just like if I was to say like a blueprint in a sense of how the interview's going to go, I don't feel like the audience needs to know as much as the artist or person that I'm talking to needs to know in a sense. It would be like just pointless information for the viewer.
How do you like approach the stuff like which questions you ask? I understand like it's off the top of your head, but like how do you like choose which questions you want to ask the artist or just whoever you're working with?
Yeah, I feel like it's just straight conversation. It's never. I feel like I have built a reasonable, respectful filter, so I'm never going to disrespect anybody with the questions that I would ask. Um, I feel like it's just as I would talk to you if you was here in real life, in a sense. The questions just come from me being curious.
Let's switch the topic a bit from interviews. I want to ask you about like, because you mentioned the Xavier album. What are some of your like favorite releases that happened this year
So
so
this
far?
year, bro, we have actually had some that were top tier. We've had some mid in the middle of it. I do want to, I want to highlight the best rather than the worst. Um, my favorite that happened was probably "Don't Be Dumb" by ASAP Rocky. I'm able to go like to that concert in September, which I'm definitely very excited for. I like the helicopter song that came out. That's probably gonna be my most streamed song this year. The J. Cole's album, The Fall Off. Again, I'm going to that concert too. Um, you know what I mean? I enjoyed these albums. Baby Keem's Casino album was great. It's just yeah, bro. I feel like they're the top three right now, unless like you say something that I'm like, oh yeah, that too. I want to see from your perspective.
What? Okay, my favorites are definitely the Cole album, The Fall Off. I gave that a masterpiece, which is my highest rating. I really love that album. I was awaiting it for so long, and I really got what I wanted. I was so happy about it. I also love the Tory Lanez album that just came out. I really enjoyed that one. It's definitely going to be like one of my most played R&B albums of the year. I love Casino. I love Butterfly. Not Butterfly. What is Faces? Icon is how it's called. The Brent Faiyaz album. I love some like even smaller releases like there's WRJC. You probably haven't heard of him. He's a dude that I interviewed and I love his music. He dropped a little project that's about like 20 minutes at the beginning of the year. I love that one. I love the Aaron Lennox one. I love Freddie Wap album. Even though I haven't heard it that much, I've really been busy, but I really do enjoy that one as well. I like the Thundercat album that just came out. There's definitely like a lot of quality music. There's also some stuff that like I'm not that crazy about, but like I'm still like I would say learning to respect it, but just like because I respect all music unless it's some like crazy shit. But like there's really like stuff like let's say the Skywater album. You probably haven't heard it. It's like a very rage inspired album from an artist that doesn't do just that one style, but pretty much the whole album was in that style. And I was not like definitely a fan of his album, not his, their album, excuse me. But let's say for Rage, the first album that I really enjoyed from that genre, and by Rage I mean like that hyper pop, very distorted sound, is the new Slayer deluxe mixtape because like it's as long as like the original version, but there's a deluxe on it. So kind of like the Uzi situation with Lil Uzi Vert versus the World 2, if you remember that one. So that one, I definitely enjoy that one as well.
You just mentioned the Ari Lennox album. You said
Hmm.
that you enjoyed that. I feel that same way, bro. What is your favorite song from there?
Not sure because with that album, I've listened to it a couple of times, but every time I kind of listen to it in full. I didn't really like, not that I listened to it like in the background, but wasn't really paying attention to, okay, this song is that, this song is that, because that's usually a thing that I do for reviews and stuff that I'm like specifically like trying to put out. That I just kind of went through it, and I can't really tell you which is my favorite song because of that. But I really do. I enjoy it. Like the only song that I can like tell you stands out in my mind is the one with was it Buji Banton? I don't know how you pronounce his name, because it had a feature. But everything else, I was just like going through it, and yeah. How about you?
I feel like the song that I go to the most, definitely the song that I go to the most is called Dreamin'. And it's got like these roads that are like dun 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 dun. That type of stuff that that you would sample if you was in the Tribe Called Quest in the 90s, or you know what I mean. These type of 90s samples, but they offer that song is my favorite type of thing to listen to. I feel it just massage my brain the same way that when Chance the Rapper dropped Starline, the biggest standout song for that was just a drop.
I like that song as well. I like that song
Yeah.
as well. That album I have such like a big connection to because I wouldn't say because I don't want to like go like very personal because I don't do that. But like I wasn't really in the greatest place when I first heard that album because I heard it as soon as it dropped at midnight. But as soon as I heard, I was like it really like lifted my spirits and like it made me take steps to becoming happier and other things similar to that. And especially like I don't know, was it the last song? It was like I think it's Speed of Love, Speed for Love, something like that. That one, the second verse on that one with the way I gave a fuck, you would have given 2 or 3 fucks. That friendship verse that hit me too hard. I almost cried when I heard that. I really love that album, and I'm such a big Chance the Rapper fan. You probably can't, nah, you definitely can't see it, but like I have like Wayne stuff here, I have Tug and Future stuff there, I have Outcast stuff. They're like all off camera. There's also Chance the Rapper stuff because I'm such a huge Chance the Rapper fan. So when that came out, I was so happy about it.
I'm so happy that it was better than the Big Day as well. That was a great
I didn't
comeback
really,
album.
but I really didn't expect it to be like on that level because he's been dropping these singles like very consistently and like 90% of them were like really good. So getting like a full project just really felt like amazing. It only had like one of those singles, which is the one with Joey Badass. That is my favorite of that singles line. There's also other singles that I like. There is Together, there is 333, there is Buried Alive, but like I really, I really love what Chance made, but I didn't expect him to do something worse. You know what I mean?
A lot of like big critics would never put that on the like top 10, but the position that I had it in my end of year list, it was I think it was top 5. I definitely had it there because it was the album that I had the most fun listening to from front to back consistently.
You've mentioned a little bit before A Tribe Called Quest, and I just wanted to ask you now about like older music, older rappers. Like, who are some of your favorites? Rappers and groups.
Outkast is like my top 5. Definitely, bro. I have to like I go to war about them being the best rap group of all time.
Hmm.
Um, so Outkast, yay when he was in that run. You know what I mean? Like I do enjoy Eminem's early run. Early run was like amazing. Not so much now, unfortunately, but I feel like he's heard that so much it's getting annoying for him. Um, we talk about I don't want to lie and say somebody like I don't want to just like start lying and say just 90s rappers that everybody likes. I'm just recently getting very into like I'm recently getting into Tupac music. You get what I mean? So
Hmm.
like as a 20-year-old, I'm starting to realize that Tupac has a lot of music that I do actually enjoy. I just never took that time to sit down and listen to too often when I was younger. Because you know me, we were listening to all the hype beast in there. But now I'm definitely into Tupac. I like Biggie, always did like Biggie. I feel I just rock with a lot of stuff like this. My biggest reference point for listening to old school hip hop is like the R&B inspired instrumentals. So MF Doom stuff like
Mm-hmm.
this, like
Mm-hmm.
Doomsday.
Mm-hmm. And who are like some of your like favorite songs? What are some of your favorite songs from that era? Do you have some like off top of your head that you really that really stand out in your mind?
I'm saying the best songs that was from the 90s. I'm talking Wu-Tang Clan Cream is definitely one of my favorite songs. The Author Storytelling Part 1 by Outkast. I like Doomsday by MF Doom, of course. Do you know who Drew Down is?
I don't think I do.
Bro, when you listen to that album by Drew Down, it's got Should Have Said So, and it is got No One Loves You by Drew Down, which is it's a great, these are great songs, bro. I call them pimp rap. I call it like the R&B inspired, but it's like got that West Coast twang to it and the cadence. They sound like they're from the 80s, but they're actually just 90s rappers rapping with Snoop Dogg in this. Doggy Style is my favorite album, and not my favorite album, but my favorite G Funk album. I prefer that over the Chronic, even though that is a hot take. You know what I mean? So yeah, I do like the everything that was R&B inspired back then in the 90s is my like favorite stuff to listen to. Punish Me by Big Pun, Thugs About by Trick Daddy. These songs are
Yeah, I
just
should have mentioned Big Pun
insane.
too. I love Pun too, and Joe too. Some of my favorite rappers that I feel like I always like need to shout out are from that era, like Hove. I am such a big Jay-Z fan. Common, Nas, Outkast, but like I've talked about them, like they're on my wall. That's kind of obvious. Biggie, Tupac, um, who else? That really, really Puff and Mace. Who else? Who else? I'm trying to look at like my vault. Also like Wayne. I don't really consider Wayne like old school, even though he did start off in the 90s with the Hot Boys and everything. But so yeah, you can count Wayne too if you are counting Jay Z. But like I don't know, I never saw. I feel like because Wayne's influence is so relevant to today because like every second rapper is having like direct influence from Wayne. And even though like it all kind of comes back to Rakim, uh, there's not like direct correlation from Rakim to I don't know, Lil Uzi. Let's say Lil Uzi, but there is a direct correlation from Wayne to Uzi, even though Wayne was most inspired by Hove and Hove was mostly inspired by Rakim. You know what I mean? But like Wayne, I feel like when it comes to like a single line, is definitely the most influential, at least in my opinion, as a rapper. As a producer, there are like different people. You can say Kanye. Uh, you can say people like Pharrell. You can say people like Timbaland. You can also say people like DJ Premier. Also some like let's say underground picks because we all know them, but like Jay Dilla, extremely influential. No ID. You know what I mean? There's so many names that I feel like are so important to production. Q-Tip. You know what I mean?
I mean, outside of rap music as a whole, you know what I mean? Who are your favorite artists that you listen to that breaks? Because it seems like you are specifically, usually in the headphones is rap music, if that's
Mm-hmm.
right.
Yeah, that's right, 100%. So if we're not even talking R&B wise, because like I feel like there's a lot of like correlation, it's like more predictable, I'd say. There I love pop punk, but again, kind of casually. I can't really talk to like a pop punk head like that. So I like Blink 182, I like Green Day, I like Machine Gun Kelly, I like the Paradox. I interviewed Jade West, who is an up and coming pop punk, not just pop punk, but just rock artists in general. I think she's amazing. Marilyn Manson is one of my favorites of all time. Like I have like a history with Manson. Uh, who else? Oh, when I was younger, I liked Nirvana. Five Finger Death Punch. I also like when I was younger. There's like a list of names that is like kind of long, and somebody would maybe think I would dive more into those genres, but I'm so like fascinated with hip hop and R&B that I never really feel very hungry to go towards other types of music. Like I was talking to one dude through IG, and he makes Afrobeat music or Afrobeats. I think that's two different genres, and like I just told him like. I don't listen to Afrobeats, not because specifically I have something against it or I think I would dislike it. I just never did like have an interest in listening to it because of how much I love hip hop and I love R&B. And I think maybe one day I might go into different genres, but like those two really are like the only ones that I feel like I am able to really talk about because I am such a big fan. But I want to ask you, how did you like get into music and hip hop or R&B or whatever in general?
I definitely grew up listening to music. All of my a lot of my memories from the first house that I remember living in. Of course, there was a house before that, but a lot of the memories from the house I remember living in first um, was music on the TV. You know what I mean? And it was some Eminem there. Um, so this would have been 2008. There was songs from Eminem. There was the Black Eyed Peas, Boom Boom Pow. That was like a certified classic in the house, bro. Um, there was, like everything from the End album that came out. I remember, Flow Rider when he was on top of game. You know what I mean? And my
Mhm.
mum and dad are usually like rockheads. My brother followed that same path. But when I started listening to rap, it was through Eminem because my mum had like these CDs of Eminem, you know what I mean? Which mixed in somehow with like Limp Bizkit someday. I don't really listen to Limp Bizkit as much as I would as a kid. And but randomly like during that time that I was transitioning into a full music head, I did start listening to radio on my phone, which was the Capital app, not even Capital Extra, which would play all the rap music. It was Capital that would play pop songs. And I feel the biggest factor from that transition from listening to what was on the radio over to listening to rap music that I would find that only has 100K plays was listening to Spotify playlists while I was playing Fortnite in 2018. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Just off the PlayStation in
Mhm.
there. I feel that's how it went.
Tell me about like how did you start being an artist? Was that always an idea, or was it something that just came up later in life?
In 2018, the biggest artist or the biggest rapper to listen to, I actually like. There's an artist that I do appreciate talking about, which is XXXTentacion. But the artist before that, breaking myself into like an underground rap scene or like a mainstream well style. 6ix9ine was my favorite rapper at that time.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's interesting. Okay.
That made me like, as a 13-year-old, just listening to Billy in that, which I thought that 6ix9ine was the coolest person on the earth at that time. um, and then obviously he got arrested for a very long time. So I think during his arrest, I was listening to a lot of more X and Ski-esque because that was a SoundCloud wave, and even though I had Spotify before a time where I didn't, and I had to listen to a lot of the songs off of SoundCloud instead, I built a big
SoundCloud.
playlist full of X and Ski-esque songs. 6ix9ine was obviously still there. I didn't break away from that yet. The biggest influence was that, and my favorite YouTuber at the time was Crypt. You know who that is, the YouTube rapper?
I think I know because there's a filter that I often like use for like TikToks, and he like comes up, and I know he's a content creator as well. So I do definitely know about him, but I don't know nothing about him other than him making that filter. Well, continue.
Yeah, so they were my like favorite influences at that time. And when I learned how to make songs off my iPhone, um, it was over for these rappers, bro. It was over for them. And I wasn't really making the best music yet. I was very influenced by Ska Lord, screamo music, which I couldn't scream for nothing when I was a child, and I choose just to not scream as an adult. So I came up with a corny voice when I'd approach the microphone. Um, but then eventually I learned how to actually rap. I started to know how to actually produce because I started producing for rappers that I would find off of Facebook.
Mhm.
These were the likes of a Rich Minna. These were the likes of a Gaius, DJ Chisel Beats, of course. These were people that I still talk to today. And I started producing for them. Rich Minna, like a big reason for the fact that I know how to really produce now because when I started working for him, I just had this drum this drum loop off of GarageBand with a sample of Bray Wyatt's laugh, which I don't think you would know who that is. I was just trying to start making concept albums, and I eventually just started building myself up to, the level I'm at now, where I'm it's still off the iPad and stuff like this, but it's much better. I'm using microphones, and I had music technology in college, so everything. It's basically just me back then, with more experience from like 7 years. You know what I mean? More experience
Mhm.
like this.
Where do you want to go with music? Or like more like specific question, like what do you want your legacy to be as a musician in case you do get bigger? Like what do you want people to see what do you want people to hear and see with you?
I'm all over the place, by the way. Like, I could take YouTube as the forefront, and then the next day music's the forefront, and then the next day I want to be a wrestler. The next day I want to be like a chef. You know what I mean? I'm all over the place like that. But the three things are, stand-up comedian's a big one for me as well. But the big three for me is the YouTube. The music is first. Actually, they are so on like here that they just keep going. But they're a tie. We'll say that. And wrestling's like third. My main focus is just to be like a personality in a sense. Have me do different things in different pockets. That is a blessing. I want to be rich as Coldlimb. I don't, or successful as Coldlimb. Um, I don't necessarily need to be successful in one field.
Like what is your favorite type of music that you create? Like, because again, I'm not really familiar. Like, how do you create stuff that you create, and what do you create
I mean,
specifically?
I've definitely tapped into different subgenres. As I said, before I put anything out online, I was rapping like Scarlord, but now it's very it's the most chill. It's like the opposite of Scarlord now. It's very like more of a alternative rap head kind of thing, but not experimental. It's more simple. There's a lot of 90s hip hop, R&B influences in the production. The way that I do rap is more like lyric focused with the vibe, so I would point to a Tyler the Creator, ASAP Rocky for that. Don't talk to me. Yeah, bro, that's exactly the way I approach it. Though it is just like if the 90s was happening now.
Well, I think that's amazing, but like, um, when did the idea of becoming an artist like start? Did you have like, okay, now is when I started to make music, or like, you know what I mean? Like, what was the moment that you realized you actually wanted to create music?
I think I started off with YouTube first. Deleted all my old videos because then I started putting out free for profit beats on my channel, which aren't even out anymore. I think when it finally clicked, when it really like clicked to the point where I really wanted to do it professionally, I would have been about 13. I feel like with the ignorance that you have as a child is like, I'm gonna be the biggest thing in the world, you know what I mean? So once I
Mhm.
landed on an idea and it finally stick just because of the thing, it's something that I can do every day. Just like that, bro. 13. If it made my first song and then wanted to be rich off of it, bro. Or successful off of it.
Mhm.
Like, rich, let's be ignorant.
I'm not sure really what else to talk about. Like, do you have some subjects that you want to touch on?
Yeah, bro. Let's talk about you, man. When did you first start doing your interviews?
I started in like August of last year. One of my, I wouldn't say a close friend because I don't know him personally, but like a friend through the internet, MOC, who is a rapper. We were talking about his music and stuff, and I mentioned to him some questions that I had for certain things. He was like these are amazing questions. You should interview me. And I was like, yeah, let's do that. So we did an interview. It first came out on his channel, and then later came out on mine when I made mine. And it just kind of started like that, like I hit up Valid, shout out to MOC and Valid. He is Serbian like me. He's from Detroit and he makes music, and I know him also. So I did an interview with him, and then everything after was me hitting up artists and just collabing with them through interviews, and I just love doing it. Like I've never like interviewed somebody. Well, not never, but I don't interview people because I want some gain when it comes to like followers or subscribers or views or whatever. Like I will interview the most unknown musician in the world if I think their music is good. I think that's a very important thing. When I see somebody who's really putting in work, who is being professional, who is taking their time, I think that's important. And even though I have such a small platform, I do find it, let's say, important, but kind of as a duty with me being an outsider to the culture to also like give some light towards these artists. You know what I mean?
To start off 2 years and then get you like you're in a 200 subscriber realm, aren't you?
I have right now, I think 146
146
yes.
subscribers.
Mm-hmm,
Bro,
yes.
I feel like it took me. I started in 2014 just as a kid making the YouTube videos. It only took me like 3 years to get like as many as you have. You know what I mean? So it
Mm-hmm.
took me so long because I wasn't really like focused on like this. For you to have a structure because of how, you know what I mean, when you're 16 you start to actually understand how things work, especially as a creative. The fact that you are on the subscribers that you have now is a very good like focus point to say that you're doing a good job, is what I'm trying to say.
Thank you.
It took me
Thank
so
you. Thank
long
you. I
to get
appreciate
to
it.
that point. Even longer to break from 323 subscribers to 500. So I'm saying I was like, it just helps to finally find a structure or a algorithm that you understand, and I feel like you're in a great place. By the end of the year, I think you'll touch 500.
By the end of the year, I'm not sure about like 500 by the end of the year, but I would love to. I would love to. But thank you. Thank you for the kind words. I really appreciate it.
I do think so, bro, and it possibly even more, because every day you're putting out shorts, which will get you more subscribers. Like every week or every now and then you'll put out an interview, which gets people from another platform to like watch you as the Philip. Is it Peric or Peric?
It's Perić. That's how you say it in Serbian, but
Perić.
like Americans or like English-speaking people say Perić. So yeah, Perić. We can say Perić.
Peric. The Philip Peric show. Um, you're getting. I'm saying, bro, you got like a really good like business plan on your mind right now, even though that it's just coming across as like a hobby because you're not getting paid for this yet. The
Mm-hmm.
way, as soon as that finally connects and you're a YouTube partner, your opportunities are just wild. I promise you.
Mm-hmm. Are you monetized? Because I know you have over 500. Like, have you reached monetization yet?
Well, me, because of the way that I work, I actually definitely sabotaged myself last year. I could have definitely been monetized by this time, but now because of my public watch hours and my short views, they are nowhere near where they need to be. My short views are on 3.3 thousand compared to where I want them to be, which is the 4 million.
I think it's 3 million, but
Um,
yeah.
and my public watch hours are 72 right now, and they keep going down. But they're on 72 right now, and they need to be on 1,000, I believe. It's something like that.
Yeah, there's it's a big number. Yeah, it's going to be hard for me too because I feel like subscribers is not even as hard as watch hours because that can be really a pain in the ass.
Facts. And I don't even know when I finally break the 500 subscribers milestone, which I have the 500 subscribers. I just don't have the short views or the public watch hours to go along with that. I feel when I finally break that, I don't know what to do with when it comes to membership. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get to the
Mhm.
1,000 subscribers so then I can just get the ads.
Oh, at 1,000 you get the ads. I didn't know that. I mean, you'll get there. I think we all are going to get there eventually if we like continue working. But like something that I really want to like point out about that specific thing is how much YouTube wants to sabotage like more like shorter creators, not who are making shorts, but let's say are making like 10 minutes long skits, 5 to 10 minute long skits, like they can get to those watch time hours like in no way. They need to be shouted out by Kai Cenat or somebody to get to there. I feel like like we are making interviews that are kind of longer. We are making just like a live stream, you know, that gets us some at least views, some watch hours. These people are getting nothing. Like 6 minutes. If 100 people watch that video, that's 600 minutes. That's what, like 10 hours. That's it's nothing, but it's not like even close for 100 views, 100% watch. So I feel like YouTube really needs to change something about that. I think something that should be better would be views. Even though I get bots, you can go and buy a bunch of views and like get off like that. But I feel like it's a much better for it to be views compared to actually watch time hours, because it really sabotages these other creatives who are working in a much smaller field. Or like, let's say video essayists. Sure, they make like 3 hour long videos, but they can put out one video in 2 months. Like, in a way, they are going to be able to like get to those numbers. You know what I mean?
Because I don't have any games on my phone. I always look at my analytics like all the time, just when I'm fidgeting in there. Um, and I'll just see like my videos will get. Damn, I don't even know what there are on average. I'll say 50 views on average, and then people are only watching that for 2 minutes out of like 30. You know what I mean? So I don't know how to keep engagement way longer than the video in a sense. No, as long as the video, because people would just see it and not have any interest as a casual. You know what I mean? Not have any interest of like who I am, who the. Unfortunately, because we have to be honest, the creator as well, they won't know, just as an ignorance of not knowing. You know what I mean? Even though I feel like, and that actually why I get to choose basically who I put on the channel, what videos I put on, out of interest for my interest in a sense. You know what I mean? If people aren't gonna watch it, at least I got to make it.
I think, and also like an important thing for us is to not like be discouraged by stuff like views, because like it it needs to be like, for me there are like three, like I say, pillars to why I'm doing this. Number one thing is because I really want to, let's say, help hip hop or something similar, because I'm no savior, or like I can be, but at the same time I want to have some positive impact if I'm going to have some positive impact. That's why I'm doing interviews, not only because of that, but because of that too. Number two thing is like having fun, because having fun is like a very important thing. If you don't like what you're doing it for. And number three thing is then stuff like money. It really cannot be close to these first two things, at least for me, because at the end of the day, I feel like it's a lot better if I was investing the time that I'm investing into YouTube into like education, or like building some like business bullshit. You know what I mean? Not bullshit. I don't mean no respect by that, but you know what I'm trying to say. Uh, I would definitely get to money already if I like worked in a supermarket for hours that I'm doing on YouTube. I would have gotten a nice bag, you know. But I feel like the important thing is to just have fun and do what you think is the best. You know what I mean?
Let's talk about like the last concerts that you went to, just as the question that I always bring up.
Well, as I said, I'm in a third world country. We don't really get concerts like that. Like we do get some stuff, but nothing that really interests me. And what we get, because I am from Banja Luka, which is, shout out to my city. I love my city. I want to put on for my city, but it's really not that. Like when it comes to concerts, we don't really get stuff like that from international artists. Because I only listen to really English stuff. I did go to November 2024, which is my, pardon me, only concert that I ever went to, and the latest one that I went to is from, I already mentioned him, Valid and DJ Head. I went to their concert. I had such a blast. It's one of my favorite nights of my life. But yeah, we don't really get stuff. But like, how about you? Because you mentioned ASAP Rocky concerts, Cole concerts. Like, what are some of your favorite concerts that you've been to?
Bro, I've been fortunate to attend. I've been to two festivals so far where I had seen Tyler the Creators. Twice I've seen Tyler the Creator. I have seen 50 Cent twice. I've seen Ray twice, which was great. Louis Capaldi twice. And when it comes to like solo concerts, these were the Tyler, Kendrick, Lamar, Baby Keem was there too with the Mr. Morale and Big Steppers, Lil Yachty. I did miss Paris, Texas when I went to the Chromacopia. But I ended up there for Lil Yachty finally, you know what I mean? At least is what I want to say. I was there for Busta Rhymes when he was opening for 50 Cent. Jeremiah was there too. Last year it was just more like Tyler, Creator, Lil Yachty. That was the Chromacopia. Oh yeah, Wireless. I went to Wireless, which is cancelled, Jay. I was going to go this year, but I never bought any tickets because of how Kanye was going to perform anyways. You know what I mean? Like, if it was 10 years ago, I would have bought it. And it's not really anything to do with how he is outside the music that I didn't go. Even though it's not something that I believe. It was more to do how the performance was going to go down. You know what I mean? Had I had 100% belief that this would be the best performance that I was ever going to witness after seeing a Tyler, the Creator, and Kendrick Lamar, I would have purchased them tickets. Because I'm very, like, local at that time. I would have made the commute, and it'll be a breeze to go see it. I just chose not to, and then they canceled the tickets because apparently I wasn't coming, bro. I have that effect. Yeah, he got banned from the UK, and nobody gets to see him at all, I guess, bro.
I feel like he's going to come back to UK. I know Tyler was also like prohibited to going to either UK or Australia at some point before like Flower Boy, like I think during the Goblin era or something, the Odd Future era. But you said something about you wouldn't go to Kanye because of how you think the concert would go. What do you mean by that? Because I've seen like the videos with Lauryn Hill, like a globe and stuff. Like I wouldn't go to Kanye because of like moral stuff, but like he seems like he can put on a good show.
I feel like as an artist myself, the reason that I would say that I wouldn't be interested in going is because as an artist myself, you do notice what people are doing when they are on stage. You know what I mean? There's a picture of a meme, and the meme says how it feels going to how it feels going to the concert as an artist, and it's just like obviously you have the perspective of this is what I would do instead, and there's too much that I wouldn't do that Kanye would do, just in this day and age. I feel like if Wireless had happened with Kanye, he's just standing on stage. He might bring out the best artist in the world, bro. But I don't feel like the overall performance would have been up to Ye standards himself. I don't feel like you wouldn't even get that from Future these days. You know what I mean? I was fortunate to see Future, but Don Toliver had a better set that next day. You know what I mean? Or that same weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like when it comes to performance, we are approaching people that are getting to the ages. You know what I mean? People that are getting to their ages, they are obviously performing less youthful in a sense. They don't have that inspiration. They don't have that motivation anymore. I'm not saying every age is like this, or every person that age is like this. But there's a lack of motivation these days when it comes to, Ye, Future. These people are in the 40s or above, you know what I mean? They're not as hungry as they used to be. They're very, very, very successful. And it's just a present. It's a gift to be in their presence now. You know what I mean? And they perform like that. So there's nothing that I would have got from it that makes me feel like I want to spend £300 on it. So we've talked about how you started. I want to talk about like your creative decisions, and where you want your success to finally be by the end of the year, because it's going to be a huge milestone for you.
I don't really I mean, like I appreciate your question. I respect what you're trying to say, but I don't really be like looking at numbers like that. Like my goal is just to make videos that I can really be proud of. Like I would rather stay on the same amount of subscribers and views and all other stuff. if it meant that I made better videos. And I am already proud of my videos, don't get me wrong. But if I'm able to, like, because there's always videos that I'm really proud of and ones that I don't like as much, if I'm able to put out a lot bigger quality, that would satisfy me. Like, numbers don't necessarily satisfy me. If I put out a video that I don't really care about and it gets 10 million views and I get monetized and all of that, it's cool. I would take it, but that's not my priority, really. Like, I can just tell you like where I think I'm going to be, like based on like calculations. I think I'm going to be at around, I feel like 300 to 350 subscribers, and I'm going to have, let's say, 200,000 to 300,000 views, because I make shorts. I don't even know if that's like too crazy of a number. I don't know what I even make, like that. But that's like what I feel like would be. But yeah, I don't really be thinking about numbers like that. I really just want to make stuff that like appeases me as a creative and it's what I can be proud of. You know what I mean?
I do, bro. But I'm saying, like, I appreciate you for your time. We'll let you go now. I appreciate you for coming on, do the collaboration, you know what I mean? The questions back and forth were great. You are the future, of course, bro. And whenever time we get more time, whenever we can run it back, we'll run it back, bro.
Of course, of course. Thank you very much.
I appreciate you, bro. I'll see you.
I appreciate you too. Bye.